Hi everyone, Erin here, and today we're going to take a look at the next naturally aged paint system. This one is a fine wood, specifically whitewash pine. So you can do this on pretty much any kind of paper, but we're going to do it on just a plain old piece of cardstock, or just white cardstock, nothing fancy. It's just a standard cardstock. In each one of the kits you're going to get, they're 1 ounce paints, and there is 4 types. Let's take a look. Now, these kits are made so that you can reseal, so if you want to keep your kits intact, you're more than welcome to do so. If you do notice the bottles are a little bit smaller than what you would normally get if you bought a Glimmer Mist or something, it's because you're getting 4 in one set. On the back side, we also have some codes, so let's take a look. This is a Chalk CB, which is chalkboard, which is a semi-opaque with a little bit of a shimmer. We also have cardboard. Now, this is a Glimmer Mist. This is just a translucent paint with a shimmer in it. Boardwalk, which is GM, also Glimmer Mist. They just didn't put their GM on this one. And then here we have Satchel Glaze, which is your Glimmer Glaze. It is a resist paint that has a little bit of shimmer in the bottom. All right, which every kit you're going to get what's called a kind of like a sample of what it could look like. Depending on what surface you do it on, if you did it on a darker surface, it may look a little different in your final result versus if you did it on white cardstock. So just kind of keep that in mind. When you open it up, you have your series of instructions, which is what I'm going to do this video. I'm going to show you. Basic supplies you're going to need a paintbrush, so that way you can get into the bottle here. The rest are mist, so you really don't need a paintbrush for that. You need some sort of cloth. I'm just using a baby wipe, which is perfectly fine. And a heating tool. Now, you could do drying time between each one of the steps, but it will take longer. Heating tool works just fine as well. First step is we're going to take our Satchel Glaze, and because this is a resist paint, it will resist any mist that we add to it later on. There's 2 different ways you can do it. The first way, the instructions tell you, is to put a pool on your nonstick surface, which is another object you're going to need so that way you don't get your stuff all wet. You could use a drop cloth if you want to, but I like nonstick. And it says to take a pool after you shake and get all the glittery goodness out of the bottom. Or you can take your paintbrush. If you put a pool on here, you can take your paper towel and kind of give you your swish marks like you see right there. But we're going to achieve the same thing, get down and really get all that goodness with our paintbrush. Just go in and just kind of just in some spots. Not too dark, but not too light. We want to be able to see this markings all the way to the edges, just here and there. If you don't put enough on, it won't create the resist effect that we're looking for here. So you're kind of getting a wood grain feel. Make sure you close up your inks or your paints between each set. Clean up your paintbrush. If you don't clean your paintbrush with this particular ink, it will make the brush hard and yucky. So make sure that you do wash your brush really well in water. So while this is wet, we're going to take our Boardwalk Mist. Shake side to side and just do a light mist here and there, not too much. And now we're going to blot this dry. Now we've got kind of our resist. According to the directions, I messed up. We're supposed to do the boardwalk before we did the cardboard. That's okay. We're going to add our boardwalk. This time we're going to kind of do this a little bit differently. Instead of actually spraying it, we're just going to apply some with our applicator. Kind of along in the same fashion that we did right around the areas where we did the other. So notice how it's resisting. See how it's kind of bubbling up and resisting over top of the satchel, our Glimmer Glaze. So we're kind of getting into the nooks and crannies around and in there to give it kind of some darker layers. You can go up higher, up lower. We don't want to oversaturate this because then we're not going to get kind of the white background that we're looking for. So we're just kind of hitting in a few areas here and there. If you full out sprayed it, we would get the same effect that you'd see that I did with the chalkboard, with the cardboard. That's not what we're going for. Now I'm going to go with the chalk cardboard and do the same thing. I'm going to go in and get our layers and just kind of layer it. Careful not to knock your paint over. Now while this is here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to blot so it's not super dark. Come in and blot. Now go in with your chalkboard. This is a chalkboard, which is a very white semi-opaque mist with a little bit of sheen, and you're going to really saturate this now. Heavy mist coating on top. So we're trying to just pull out some of the grain. And if you'd like to use a fan brush, or this is a fan brush, or you could also use a big thick brush if you want to, and just kind of go in and pull some of the layers that you see underneath. If you feel like it needs a darker coat, dry this and add another layer. Feel that this is too dark and you really want a lighter look like we have achieved here, just keep on adding some more. Let your chalk actually pool. Now, if you didn't touch this, if you didn't heat set this or blot this, it will dry as you see it. So if you like that look, you can go for it. You could also go in and blot, or you can heat set. It is really up to you. So I'm going to leave some of these pooled areas here where it's kind of getting a lighter look over the dark, and I'm going to let this finish air drying to get the final achieved look. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look at our naturally aged wood system. This is the white washed pine. It's a fine wood. Thanks so much. Goodbye.